Have you ever wondered if we're living life consciously or unconsciously? If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've made an intentional choice to make time to be kind today. But what does conscious living look like or feel like on a daily basis? And why must this be our priority now more than ever? Stay tuned to find out.
It's time to be kind with Marley Q.
Because the time to be kind to ourselves, each other, and the world is now.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for making time to be kind. Today, I have such a special guest to share with you, my friends. Amanda Rodriguez, better known as Amanda Vibes, is a conscious living influencer. We're going to find out what that means in just a moment. But this Miami native is a happy mama. She's a yogi like me as well, and a yoga teacher and a content creator that's inspiring people to live life more consciously each and every day. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Wow, thank you. That was such an awesome intro.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being a Parker. Can you tell our folks listening, just in case this is your first time in my world, the first time making time to be kind with Marley Q and our guest, what's a Parker?
Parker is a person that performs acts of random kindness.
That's right. I love it. It rolls off the tongue because you've been a part of this movement and this initiative, this effort to make a kinder world in your own beautiful way. Can you tell us what's a conscious living influencer? Let's start there.
So I've never really tied the word influencer to it, but I like it. You know, it's a very common phrase nowadays, of course. So how do I put this? So to live a conscious life is not so much about being perfect, and striving for perfection. It's more about being aware. Connecting with that awareness state where knowing that all your actions have a reaction. So constantly having that thought behind everything that you do, everything that you say, every energy that you spread just makes everything more meaningful, more purposeful. And, it just helps us live more consciously.
You and I, we're speaking the same language, right? Because we're yogis and we're yoga teachers. But perhaps if we have Parkers listening that are like, what are we Of course, I'm conscious, like I'm living every day, right? But there's a difference, right? Between like existing and like experiencing life. And I think that's where like the conscious living and your message really comes in, is that we're not here to just exist and kind of like go in the day to day and the hustle or the stress or the doing of the things. We're here to be conscious, and we're here to be human beings living this life, right? With more awareness. So what are maybe some like simple ways that you inspire people to live a more conscious life? Let's get practical.
Okay, so a more simpler form. Yes, I'm agreeing with everything you said. Absolutely. All these terms like being aware, being conscious comes easier to people that have studied yoga and have a deeper meditation practice and stuff. So to kind of simplify it is kind of like you mentioned, rather than being on the go all the time, and sometimes when you're so in a mindset of being so fast paced, you don't realize the things you're doing or how you might have said something in a more harsh way, or you didn't give someone your full attention that they really needed that attention from you at the moment. So it's more of taking a second to acknowledge how you are acting and acknowledging the energy you're putting out into the world, And one way to do this is, we're humans. We all feel frustration. We all feel anger. So living consciously is not neglecting those and just feeding your life with, let's say, a toxic positivity where you just reject all those natural feelings, to kind of just accept them and feel them, like you can tell yourself, okay, right now I'm feeling anger. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. Am I going to let it take over my entire day? Am I going to let it pour out onto people around me? No, I shouldn't do that. So I'm going to choose to be conscious, to feel those feelings, cry if you have to, let it out, whatever healthy form you let it out, and then understand that that's temporary, and then just, move forward and proceed with like a more positive mindset. So you spread that energy as well to those around you.
Yeah, it definitely starts
for yourself too, for your mental state and your sanity and all that, like just, uplifting yourself. So it's very important that starts from within you, and then you become that living example that just spreads out onto people. And it's just amazing, you know?
Yeah, when you're living it, it's amazing, right? And I want our Parkers like listening to get a sense for what it looks like and what it feels like to live a more conscious life, right? I don't want to come on here and assume that you, beautiful Parker listening, aren't living a conscious life, right? But I think that we can all do better and support each other in living a more conscious life, right? So in your everyday life, I mean, you're a young woman. I don't even think you're 30 yet, right? I've got almost. I got a little bit of a decade on you here, almost a decade on you. I'll say almost. Me feel better. But you're a business owner, right? You're a small business owner. You're a mom. You're a yoga teacher. You're a content creator, you know. And I feel that even though you are all those things, you also need your own like daily reminders, right? To live consciously and not get caught up in kind of the unconscious patterns that most of us repeat, right? Because how can we live more consciously is by finding a few positive habits that help you to be more aware, be more present, be more grounded in your everyday. But you've got to practice those things. If not, it's super easy to live unconsciously, right? So for you as, again, a mom, a business owner, and all the things that you do, what are some of the practices or the ways that you check yourself to make sure that you're living consciously?
Okay. Let me think. Wow, putting me on the spot.
I am.
I'd say like surprisingly, you know, the people around you, when you notice like what they get bothered at from you, you have a moment there where you think, okay, is this about them or is it about me? You know, and you kind of just have to like think these deep thoughts and ask yourself, wow, you know, I spoke in a harsh way. I might have said something with attitude, and kind of just taking accountability for it. So I like to write a lot. I journal a lot, and through that have discovered where I can improve myself and become better. I also, through meditation, is a constant reminder for me with the thoughts that just come up of where you need to work on yourself, you know? Everyone has their story and things that they've been through, and those energies linger within you, and they can come out of you in whatever way, whatever form. So I think, you know, like for me, journaling and through meditation is huge for me, and checking in with myself. I always check in with myself in the morning, ask myself, how did I wake up today? How do I feel today? I mention the emotions that I feel. Today I feel very happy and energetic, or today I feel a little more groggy, a little more emotional. Maybe I need a little more self-care. I can also warn those around me like, hey, look, I woke up a little more on the emotional side today. So no harsh meaning behind anything that, you know, might come off a certain way.
I think that's super kind. I think that's super kind to not just check in on yourself. I think that's a really great practice, and one that I've been teaching also for the past 9 years, 400 plus classes, teaching my best way to stress less. That's the practice. It's let's check in and do our best to focus on how we're feeling in the morning, right? Like checking in with yourself first thing in the morning before your feet hit the floor, before you check your notification.
Open your eyes. As soon as you're conscious and you're awake, your eyes are closed, like check in with yourself. How are you feeling? You know,
it could be that simple to start.
And at night too, you know, checking out with yourself. How was my day? What did I learn? Anything that I can do better tomorrow for myself? Did I lack somewhere? What do I need? You know, you need to have these conversations with yourself. Like there's no escaping your mind, you know? So you got to talk to yourself and ask yourself these deep questions so you can better know yourself and be a better person, you know, and be kind to those around you for sure.
Yes. So I hear a lot of like, you know, befriending, right? How important it is to befriend our mind and the emotions, right? Because one thing that I heard in what you shared, which again, I teach as well, which is why we're aligned and why you're here and why I wanted to share, you know, your platform and your voice and your story with others, is because we need more people that are promoting or influencing living consciously, right? For me, it's through kindness, right? And I see everything through the lens of how can we practice being more kind to ourselves, each other, and this planet. How can we live more consciously through kindness, right? So specifically, what are we doing, right, through your business? I want to learn about Join the Wavement. I want you to tell us about that and conscious living, right? Because you have these amazing tote bags. If you're watching us on YouTube, you see them behind her. Yay. If you're listening, don't worry. We're going to link it in the show notes of this episode so that you can connect. I sport my conscious living bag, yoga bag, like everywhere I go. It's my favorite thing. So can you tell us maybe like the inspiration that sparked your Join the Wavement movement? Tell us about that.
All right. So Join the Wavement is an eco-conscious brand. We sell reusable tote bags with inspiring messages on them because we want to inspire people to just throw a simple message on your everyday tote bag, just the most minimal start to living consciously. So yeah, and we also want to reduce the use of plastic bags by having reusable tote bags. So this all started 2019. We launched our first collection of tote bags, and I've always wanted to do something very meaningful, that is like shopping with a purpose. So where we revolve a lot around collaborating with eco-conscious brands, promoting like sustainable fashion. So you're shopping with a purpose that benefits humanity and the planet. And I've always been very in tune with nature. I feel like since very young, I'd walk outside and be like, oh, Dad, I'm feeling some type of way. I need to go outside and like step on the earth barefoot and energize with the sun. Like I love nature, So I've wanted to start something meaningful that's connected to nature. So our bags are 100% organic cotton, and we do donate to different organizations. So anything and everything that has to do with living an eco-conscious life is what we stand for.
I love that. Well, for you, because we start off this conversation and I know maybe you were a little resistant to call yourself a conscious living influencer, right? Or at least I felt that little bit of resistance. The same way that I resisted calling myself a kindness influencer, right? So I've been in business this year for 15 years. I've been a social entrepreneur. And this was really the first year that I'm coming out and I'm like, I'm a kindness influencer. I'm going to put that hat on, not just because these times this word influencer is so popular, right? But I really thought about it. If we're all here influencing something, influencing ourselves, influencing those around us, influencing the world in some way. And if we could be more conscious and intentional about what it is that we are influencing in our lives, my goodness, that gives you like a North Star, right? That gives you like the path like forward. And for me, kindness is that illuminating, torch for me. And I see how conscious living is so aligned with kindness, because if you are conscious of how you're living and you have a standard of kindness, meaning you identify as I am kindness, which guess what, friends, we all are. We are one humankind, right? One mankind, right? Is really the first key or the foundation to living consciously, would you say?
I have to agree with you on that for sure.
So we powerfully put this influencer hat on, even though we may not vibe with hey, I want to be the face and the influencer of the thing. But the purpose of what we're out to do is so meaningful and impactful, right? That we've got to dig into that courage and be like, you know what? I'm a conscious living influencer, right? And you out there, if you're listening and you care about the earth and eco-friendliness and sustainability and all the things that Amanda's just talked to us about, then you could be a conscious living influencer too. Right?
At the end of the day, we're all influencing something. You have a strong point there. No matter what it is, you're influencing people, everyone around you. So might as well make it something good and meaningful,
And on purpose, be conscious about it. What are we influencing? How are we influencing ourselves and those around us on a daily basis? As a mom, I love following you on Instagram. I follow absolutely everything that you post, beautiful content that I know you work really hard on to create. And it's not easy when you're mothering a baby, right? Because your baby's still a baby, just like my baby's still a baby. So when it comes to parenthood, right? How are you involving your beautiful daughter, Alexandra, into your business and into your conscious way of living?
Yeah, so conscious parenting. So, toddlers, they really, really test your patience. So I must say she must be my biggest teacher. It just you just have to, so conscious parenting, you have to just stop for a moment and just be patient rather than just being so reactive to these little humans that they're just learning how to adapt to this world that we live in, and in comparison to previous generations, I remember being yelled at and I'm like, I didn't do anything, so kind of just I those cycles and stuff and just really, really making an effort to just be very patient with these little people. And also, I invite her to, whenever I'm doing yoga here at home, I invite her to do yoga with me. She knows how to take deep breaths. We do like gratitude practices, like just all those little things that you start like planting that seed when they're tiny, and you know, they'll grow up and they'll have that self-awareness, that confidence, and they know they can resort within to themselves, to their breath, and, you know, turn their awareness inward whenever they're feeling stressed out or something, rather than seeking for external comfort. So I think that's huge. That's super important. And, you know, it takes the tiniest efforts to start planting those seeds in them, you know, just telling her kind words, affirmations. We love doing affirmations. Every morning we stand in the mirror when we're getting ready for school. It's my favorite. Little affirmations. And I see the difference in her energy when she's like, I love me.
It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Friends, I'm going to link Amanda Vibes' Instagram handle, and what you're going to do right after watching the show, after you rate and review and support the podcast, right? You're going to follow my friend and find these beautiful morning affirmations with Alexandra. I love how you are teaching her through modeling, you and your husband, Sebastian, which, by the way, I have both partners here on Time to Be Kind with Marley Q. Sebastian Hart is your partner, and he was on season 1. I will link that episode in the show notes as well. It was all about abundance of positivity. You're going to love these two humans as much as I do, for sure. And now on season 2, I've got you, and maybe on season 3 in some future, I can have Alexandra on here. Oh, make sure. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for making the time to be kind today. Thank you for sharing with us a little bit of your spark, of your kindness, of your way of living, which I really think is you're doing really, really great work to inspire and influence other people to be more conscious, which I think is way more important. It's always been important to live your life consciously, people, always. But now more than ever, I really think it must be a priority, and it can start in simple ways. Amanda shared.
All you need is the discipline to do just small efforts every day. You know, you don't have to sit down and meditate for 10 minutes if you don't want to. It's just take 1 minute to close your eyes and just take deep breaths, or tell yourself, today I'm going to do something kind for someone. Today I'm going to be accountable for how I spoke to someone in a harsh way. Just anything, just the tiniest little efforts, and just continue to do them. You know, that's the key.
Yeah. Stay disciplined, consistent, showing up, doing the thing. I call it living the cause, right? Like, let's live the cause each and every day. And if you're here with us right now, we can live consciously in this moment. I invite you to take like a deep breath with us. Ready? I'm going to do it. And then let it go. And if all you did today was make time to be kind and breathe 3 times, breathe in again. Exhale, let it go. One more time, all for yourself. And I know that, like me, you believe that kindness comes from within, and it's free, and it's without expecting absolutely anything in return, right? So the more that we live consciously, we're actually feeding our soul and not the ego, right? I know that you love that quote.
Oh, that's like my go-to quote for everything. Feed the soul and not the ego.
Feed the soul.
Like a mantra at this point.
Yes, a mantra we are going to share with our partners listening. And when we live from that place, a more conscious way of living, where we're aware of the fact that I am kindness. This is a standard of behavior towards myself, towards others, towards this world that we share. And we live more consciously with that standard. Friends, you will enrich not just your mental health and wellness, but you'll enrich every aspect of your life. Relationships, business, whatever you are working on in your life will be enriched just by making a commitment and a choice to live more consciously. And it could be super simple. Amanda, thank you so much for making time to be kind today and sharing those great tips with us.
Thank you. This was amazing.
So there you have it, friends. Are you living consciously or unconsciously? If you're still here and made it to the end of this podcast, I know that you are a conscious living influencer too. Make sure to connect with my friend Amanda Vibes on Instagram and all the platforms, including YouTube, Twitter, what have you. She's at Amanda Vibes with 2 S's. It'll be linked in our show notes. You can visit marleyq.com/this episode number for the full transcription, show notes, and links to connect and snag one of those awesome conscious living tote bags. If you are not part of our Kind crew yet, what are you waiting for, my friends? The party happens over on our private Facebook page. Click the link in the show notes to join our Kind crew now and engage in this beautiful currency of kindness together. Visit marleyq.com/this episode number. See you next time.